Okay. We're up to Siman Nun Hey, Treifos Beregel Prakov, Shosha Prakim Yesh Beregel. There are three sections of the back leg, the hind legs. The bottom part is that which you cut off with the hooves. That's called the arkuva. That they used to sell together with the head of the animal for things they're not really like the most edible parts and things or whatever. Above that you have the second section, that's called the calf. But some sagidim betachtav, some arkuva, and kerosim harosh. And then some sagidim that we're going to see in the vav is in between the the arkuva and the shok. The arkuva is, in a person, it would be kilu. You have the foot, and then you have the ankle, would be where the some sagidim are, and then the and then you have the calf. The Malamenu Perik Shlishi is the third chelik, Vahu Mechuber Laguf, and that's where it attaches to the rest of the body. Venikra Kulis. That's called the kulis, which we call the femur or the thigh, maybe. Perik Hatachta B'chol Makom Sheyechtach B'Kshera. In the bottom area, any place that it gets cut or broken or whatever, it's kosher. It doesn't make a difference. It's right. Etzem HaMechuber Laguf. Kulis b'chol makom sheyachtach treifa. Any place that it gets cut is treif. I'm sorry, nechtach shel b'makom tzomas hagidim. In the middle leg, as long as it didn't cut the tzomas hagidim, kshera. In nechtach b'makom tzomas hagidim, treifa. Then it's treif. Lo nesa v'nishi chatuchas haregel b'makom zeh elevation is nechtuchu hagidim. It's not because the bone is broken; it's because the tendons are broken, are cut. So let's say a case where in Yomi, let's say that the cow was wearing a beeper or something and it exploded and it hurt his leg. So, what you laugh, but Lamaisa, we're learning the Treifos Aregel right now. So the Yomi, you think one of the, if you Ma'aminim understand, it's Kosh Baruch Hu's called Cheshbonis, and if the Shaila comes up, so the Shaila right now, this is the Torah behind it. Nishbar Etzem Makom Tamis Agini Yatzel Lachutz. If the bone popped out of the skin, ve'ein or basar chayfin is rubo, and there's no skin and no basar, which is covering most of the shever of the bone. Ubadak b'tzomas hagidim. You check the tzomas hagidim, and imtzu kayamim, they're okay. The kshera down there, it is considered kosher. Yesh oisvim edechtach etzem ha'imtzai. Some aser if the middle bone, the shin bone, whatever you want to call it, is broken. B'chol makom afilu shelo b'makom tzomas hagidim. Even if it's not b'makom tzomas hagidim, even if it's not in the place of tzomas hagidim, l'daita and nishbar, just like by the kulis. L'daita and nishbar ha'etzev b'makom tzomas hagidim. If it broke by the b'makom tzomas hagidim, yotzel l'chutz. And it went, popped. It's out of the skin, broke over, popped out of the leg. Or ubasa chayfin is rubo, and there's no skin or muscle. You see the bone sticking out. Even if the b'tzomas hagidim are fine, into kayamim treifa, that's considered treif. V'cheinim nechtach b'socha perek shebein arkuva and keresim arosh l'shok. Let's say it got cut in between in the joint itself, the sofa arkum, by the end of the arkum, beina arkum, or whether we'll explain in a second, between the arkum, uvein shok, treifa, the das zeh. Arkum is what we'll see is what the Achronim say is what the called the what's really called like the kneecap. There's a little bone over there, which by the joint, it's like our kneecap, sort of, which the kids call it shich, and it's what they play. That's what they play, and that's what they play with. We have in Shabbos shich. I guess they use it for dice or use it for whatever they use it for. That comes from this bone, and if this bone is if it's cut by the bone over there through the joint, then this shita holds that also is treif, even if the gidim are kayamin. There is another shita which holds that it's not the bone itself, but it's the ligaments and things over there, which that keep it together, not the bone. Nafkamina is a bit by chickens or by birds. Okay, because birds don't have the arcum. They don't have. Again, this thing, this setup is the same thing by birds as well. Right? It has the bottom part, the feet, right, and then it has the polka, and then it has the thigh. Right? We don't get the whole leg. They cut it off by the bottom. The Achronim discuss, but there's no arkum. So according to the second shita, which can be machmir for, also just then that would be the same thing. It would fit with the idea that there's no of all the ligaments and things or whatever. It would fit with that idea. And if you're cut inside the joint, if it's right in the joint, then it's treif. It's cut, like chopped off. The minig is to be machmer l'svar achreina. Ve'ein l'shanois. Anything which is from that joint and up, even if it didn't cut the tzomas hagidim, it's treif. Afal pisha tzomas hagidim kayamin, then it's considered treif. So too by chickens. We'll see a bit more, but if we're going to see, like if you get a chicken and you see that the leg is broken, we'll get into that. But if that bone was broken mechaim, then it's treif. If the polka is broken mechaim, beis etzem akulis shenitak imkomo. If you have the femur, which is detached, I guess, by the hip, it's dislocated by the hip. Buka da atma, the hip joint is called the buka da atma because it's like a round it's a round socket, ball and joint, right? The shaf miduchte, it popped out of place. Treifa, it's treif. Bein behema, bein ba'of, doesn't make a difference. Either one, it's treifa. Who the iakul. Like you see that the ligaments are attached. There's like this part that stick out to help keep the bone in place. Right? Because it's a ball and joint, so the ball part. But if they just broke, if they tore the ligaments, but they're not disintegrating. It's not, they're still, they broke, but it could be they can heal. But if there's something wrong with them, then they won't they won't heal. Someone said Gideon will get to them vav. I didn't. That's in the next simin. We'll get into that. This is talking about by the hip. Even if a few of the ligaments are falling apart. Ruben Kayim Kosher Medina. We don't really know. Not bekim and what Yuchol Nive is. Any dislocated hip, we're going to go ahead and we're going to treif. The Shema Yachonive, because maybe that's called Yachonive. V'cheni Nishbar Samach L'Guf, and if it breaks close to the body cavity, afal pi shechalzer v'nikshar, even if you splinted it up and you tied it up, heitiv treifa shema ayik, because we say that maybe that cut and ruined the ligaments. Umasharin dal its bows begasa. The way we figure it out is what's called samach l'guf in kulis is dal its bows begasa. Ube is bedaka, 3 or 4, 2 or 4. Ube'ov hagodol, if you godol, chazan fiktano, you figure it. You can tell if it's close or not. The tov lahachmir makom she'ein hefsa meruba. Anytime it breaks up there, it's better to be machmir. For that nis achlu hanivim makom she'ein hefsa meruba. In lo nishma la'yerach yukol nive kosher. The Ebelchen Hefsed Meruba, if the hip is dislocated, if it wasn't dislocated, and it's just that the ligaments are torn or ruined, something like that, then the Hefsed Meruba we would be machshir. Rosh etzem akulis and mechuber l'shok. The head of the femur, which is attached to the calf bone. Shenitik and this is the case where it got dislocated. Sheira even if the ligaments are all torn up and they're disintegrating, then it's kosher. Again, similar to what we had before, that the machmir, that the shok also, it needs, if it's broken or anything like that, it also needs to be encased, still encased by the skin and the muscle, at least rubo. Because if it's not, if it's let's say it got dislocated and it's poking out of the skin, then that's a problem. That reminds me of when I was a kid. I had a friend who slid into third or something like that and dislocated his bone. You could see it like jutting out like this, but didn't break through the skin. But that would be a similar case, and that would be fine. Dalet in yesh la gimel reglayim treifa. If it has 3 legs, then it's called treif. The chol yeser kinitul dami. Any extra limb is kinitul l'shitas Rashba. A what? A bird or any. Well, no. We're talking about a cow also. If it has a third leg, hind, not the foreleg, the hind leg. Hind leg, it has a third hind leg, right? So therefore, kol yeser kinitul dami, because it's not going to function properly. Ki'ilu choser regel echad hu. V'hu sheyazeh hayeser mirosh etzem hatachtoin ulamala. That's only if it's growing out. It's higher up than that's hatachton. Let's say it has an extra hoof, like whatever, some weird mutation jutting out from the leg. That's okay. It's only where there's like some other extra limb which is coming out, so that it's not going to be able to walk. I guess the treifa of the broken leg and the hind leg or whatever is that it's not going to be able to walk and only can't walk. It's you often they put animals down if they break a leg because it's not going to heal. They can't walk. It's not going to.
It has an extra leg coming out of its back.
So that will also be. Out of its head. I don't know. That's dumb. That's not called yeser. That's not called yeser kachasser, because that's dumb odd. We'll see in a second. We'll see in a second. Even by the leg, it depends if it looks like a leg. Hagav davka shezeh yoseres yesh Torah regel. That's only if it looks actually like an extra leg. Omedes v'makom haraglayim, and it's standing on it. It can actually stand on it. So that's not called Yeseras. If it's not Torah regular and it's not able to stand on it, so then it's just some extra appendage and I don't know what, and dildul, it's called a dildul, and therefore it's kosher because it's also, it won't ruin the function of walking. It's that would be considered that's fine. That would be okay. Uh, hey, kol makom she'im yechtach sham haregel he treifa. Any place which we consider that if it's broken or cut over there or chopped off is a treifa. Filu lo nechtach ela nishbar. Right, even if it's not chopped off, but it's broken. Yatsa lachutz, and then like I said, it goes out of the skin. Im ein or basal chayfim roiv avav. If it's not covering most of the thickness of the bone. Uh, so Rov Hakefo, and it's also not covering Rov of the top part and Rov Hakefo, Treifa, and it's Treif. More of a Basa Chayfim Rov Ava, but if they are covering Rov Ava Rov Hakefo, Shera. If the skin is still covering, even if it's poking through, but it's poking through only a little bit, so it's still kosher. V'nafel ksas me'etzem. If a part of the bone broke off, if there's enough skin and muscle to go ahead and to cover the shever, even if the bone didn't fall out, even if it is not enough to go ahead and to cover it, to keep it in place, either lo nafal, you have to look at it in Messiah that if a piece didn't fall out, is there enough skin and muscle to go ahead and to cover it? Even though a piece fell out, you have to sort of Messiah trying to Messiah it. Even though right now it's enough to cover it, but let's say it broke, the top part of the bone broke off and fell out. Right, so we have to try to I estimate that there's enough or basar to cover it. Kilo was back in, but even right now it's covering it. But if it's not, wouldn't be covering it because the top part of the bone is thicker and wider, so then it wouldn't. It's treif. But if the bone broke in a place where it's not nitraf, let's say the bottom of the hoof, and if it's in nechtach, im ein or basar chayfidus ruba. Let's say it broke over there. If there's not or basar chayfidus ruba behema muteres, even if it's not even if it's not enough, flesh to cover it, then it's still muter. However, also midrabanan, but that aver is also midrabanan, mitam aver nachai. V'tzarich lachtoich. And you have to chop away part of the motor part as well. But also you have to cut above it as well, just in case. You have to cut above where the bone broke. You have to cut it. You have to chop that bit off before you salt it. Because it's nisad rabbanon, and you have to cut it off before. But there is a different shita. There is a machmirim, even if it is covering it. And if it taka broke and went out and broke open the skin and it popped out, the ish machmirim. And therefore, in Ashkenaz, that's the minig lahatif kol shvira be'etzem makom shim nechtach treifa. That in Ashkenaz, the minig is to treif any animal, but that you don't try to estimate the or and the hekef. Any broken bone is treif. Even if it's completely encased. There's a lot of different small dinim. If a piece fell out, and can you estimate? And it's complicated. Ain't Rabin Bikim, right? And Rabin are not Bikim in these things. Ain't Lashanos. Im lo b'makom hesed meruba. If it's a makom hesed meruba, if he rose any amoresh, yesh lahaka lahoris ki halacha. If the Rav, the Rav has to know. The Hamanan, the butchers don't have to just tell him, okay, listen, broken bone, throw it out. If it's a makom animal's treif, it's treif. If it's not, then throw that part out. Don't try to estimate anything. But if there's a hefsed meruba, they bring it to the Rav, so then he has to know these halachas well in order to try to see if he can be matir it. The dafka im lo chazav nikshar. It's only if it wasn't put back in place, tied up. Maybe you put a splint. I don't know, whatever. But, hmm. Healed, right? But if it healed, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they put splints. I have no idea. But Al if it, however, it healed, it went back and healed. Even though there was a shever, then that is okay. Vav nishbar etzem akulis. If the femur broke, v'nita l'menu koret meirosha, and there's a bit missing from the top, elyon, amechuber b'shedra, right, and the part which is attached to to the pelvis, to the shedra, right, v'nis achlu miyut nivav, im or basa chayfid esruba kshera, even though a piece broke off, as long as long as it's still covered by the or basar, it's not called a treifa. Zayin hada machshirin ba'or ubasar chayfid esruba dafka kisharov hachipu min basar. It's dafka if most of the dafka kisharova chipu bin abasa, it has to be from the flesh. For as a mute shaor, it's started most of the chipu has to be from the muscle. But if then you can mitzaref a mute of the hide of the skin. About chetzi mina or chetzi mina basar low. But if it's chetzi, then no, that's not, because I guess the hide is not strong enough to keep it in place. Hani mili bebehema, but ba'of kiven she'or rach, mitzaref im habasar. Since the or is rach, so it's mitzaref im habasar. Mechsa basar, mechsa or kosher, and if you look, if it's mechsa, then it is kosher and it's fine. Let's do one more. Yesh mishakas v'sheish makom she'or levado matzil. There is one place where the hide, the skin itself, will be matzil, but behema, who makom hasamuch mamish l'arkuva. That's where it's really just right by the bottom joint. Fisha sham la'olam basar ela or levad. There's no basar there. There's no muscle. There's only skin. Or levad davukim etzim. The skin itself is attaches with the bone. Ubishar makom yishadech li sham basar. And other places where there usually is muscle. Im lo hayasham basar ela or levad. If there's no muscle, it tore the muscle. There's only or v'hayuririn bein ha'or v'etzim. But there's like you see, it's healing. There's fluid. You see, there's like fibers or whatever between the keeping it in place. Each own shematzil. Some say that is matzil, and we'll stop here.